Joining us in the booth for this first half of the match between Weber and Waliczek. This is the semifinal. Almost had a 300 there with Tommy Lutz Jr. Marshall was locked in.
Sitting right behind him, and he really had the left lane totally wired. He was coming in line in the right-hand lane and got caught in that half pocket zone. But 279, what a great game.
Oh, nice break, good start for Lonnie Waliczek. Now, Marshall, we asked a lot of the players last night if they had experienced something like Lonnie did last week in Seattle, where he had a mark in the 10th, didn't come through, overcame the emotion of that to return to the show next week. Do you remember a similar experience with your career?
Well, I didn't finish second 32 times without, making mistakes in the 10th frame. And, yeah, it happened to me. And, boy, my hat's off to Lonnie for making the comeback.
And a great start for PDW as well. Pete Weber, another Hall of Famer. Which, Randy, leads us to the Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup.
Well, the big difference here is this. Check this out. 70% strike percentage for Lonnie Waliczek. Comes down to throwing strikes. He throws a lot of strikes, but Marshall Holman, again, talking about what happened last week in the 10th frame. I mean, what goes through a player's mind when something like that happens?
Well, I think that, sometimes it's easier if you're forced to throw a strike than if you have to throw just a spare, because you get a little protective. And I'm imagining that's what Lonnie did in the 10th frame last game. And, I also think it's going to be difficult for Lonnie today because the way he threw the shots in the 9th and 10th frames of his first game, I think that's going to plant a little mental doubt in his mind as well. And you don't need that bowling against Pete Weber.
PDW covers nicely.
Nice follow through.
Bidding for his first title of the year. Really no reason to worry about exempt status for next year. First in points right now.
Yeah, none of these guys have to worry about exemptions. They're either have won a tournament or they have so many points they're going to make the top 50 without an issue. But Marshall, getting back to what you talked about, and I agree with you, as Lonnie Waliczek throws a nice strike there, Lonnie Waliczek was going much straighter in the first match with a different ball. Now he's way in where Tommy DeLutz was when he shot the big 279 game.
Well, these guys watch the other players, and he did have a good look for the first part of his game, but those shots on 9th and 10th frame, maybe that was the impetus to making that move deep in the left side. And I watched him bowl all week, and I couldn't believe the way he was able to play outside. I tried to play in, not very successfully, but most of the guys were in this week.
Well, you had a great week, Marshall, just missing the first cut by 4 pins, and for a guy that bowls only 3 games a week, I mean, it just goes to show you how great you were and still are to me.
Well, I appreciate that, Randy. It was fun. If I'd have bowled 9 more games, my hand just would have hurt even worse than it does now. So maybe a good thing that I got knocked out.
We're joined in the booth here by the Hall of Famer Marshall Holman, 22 titles.
How am I going to make that other $110 to get to 1.7? I just don't know.
Bowl regional.
You got a bowl regional. Something, pal, that's for sure. As Lonnie covers, picks up the spare. He's bidding for the turkey with 3 straight strikes to start this semifinal match. Tommy DeLutz Jr. is already through. So Weber down by 8 pins. 3rd frame for PDW. Trying to become the 4th bowler in PBA history to win 30 titles. Earl Anthony, Walter Ray Williams Jr., Mark Roth are 30 plus.
Harrison Frazier leading the tournament by 1 shot over the defending champion.
Oh no.
9-pin wiggling, still wiggling. It won't go.
Marshall, not to get away from Pete's solid 9 because obviously not a good break on a strike, but I have to ask you this question. We talked about it all year long. What is your feelings on the tour going to an all-exempt field next year? And how would you feel being in a position like, say, myself, trying to get to that exempt status?
Well, it's a bold move by the people that are now running the PBA. I think it's going to make for a lot of excitement next year. As far as being in the mix this year, at this stage of my career or at this stage of your career, very, very difficult. The new format with the best 4 out of 7, to advance in match play is it can be cruel at times. But hey, the guys know what they're up against, and I'm happy to be here in Medford, Oregon, and not out there with you trying to get that exemption.
Nice break, 10-pin, late to fall for Lonnie Waliczek. We saw the breakdown of the 64. Player field for next year will be very different on tour.
See that dartboard? It just crossed over right there at about the 43-foot mark. That's the 10th board. That's Lonnie's break point. Del Ballard, our statistician, and I talked yesterday. We felt that Tommy DeLutz Jr. and Lonnie Waliczek, when we talked about that skid roll hook type of look, that they're the best at it. They get their ball to skid through the front part of the lane, get it to pick up in the middle part of the lane, and then get that ball to roll the right way. And that transitional move down the lane is perfect.
Well, they're proving it right now. I like Brad Angelo's chances. I watched the ball all week, and I was so impressed with the way that he gets his ball in the pocket, shot after shot after shot. But boy, Duluth dismissed him easily.
Yeah. Well, I think talking about Brad, that's why he is second on the point list and doing as well as he's doing this year. He makes the finals every week, and the only thing that he hasn't done is win. And he's now recorded 2 telecasts this year.
Down 18 pins heading into that shot.
I never broke up. I never broke up the 310.
Good,
every time I hit the head pin high, 310. There's Tracy Weber, Pete's wife. Yeah,
I see that pretty good.
He liked that shot, Randy. But you think he gets a little slower, a little extra hit on that ball?
Well, it's either that or it's the wrong ball choice, because that ball needed to go another 2 feet down the lane before it changed direction.
And the 3 stands. So an open frame for PDW. That hurts, especially the way Lonnie has bowled, who has a double now and a big 31-pin lead on Pete Weber.
Pathetic, Pete. That was just pathetic.
You know, Marshall, you practice before your match starts, and a lot of times if you don't have a great look, you have to guess. And it looks like Pete made the wrong guess.
Yeah, and you just have a few frames to make that guess.
Right.
Way left on his approach, makes the adjustments on lane 29 very well. Marshall Holman, great to see you again.
Thank you, Dave. Randy, thank you very much. Enjoy playing golf with you at Road Valley in the week. See you next year.
Thanks, Marshall.
We'll break down those scores when we return, plus the rest of this match from Medford.